Hello, this is Pixie did another video. There's a little earthquake. Always sort of shake these devices. So I've been watching lots of stuff to do this sorts of riot stuff that's going on, and a lot of it's false flag type stuff. It's being paid for. There's a globalist agenda in the mix. It's kind of a shame because it sort of spiraled out of control, and it wonders if it was all orchestrated in the beginning. Like, there's just people there waiting for the opportunity to stir things in a certain direction, and how to actually manage that is just basically for a total avoidance. Because the idea of the game is that you've got to be on one side or the other, and you say, well, I don't really fit in any particular camp of views. And then it's kind of also this so they have to polarize as much as possible. That's a sign of globalist involvement. So there was stuff like Free Palestine, all these other things were mixed in there, and it was people that were sort of kicking off as well, people that had joined the crowd. But everyone had all these lovely printed signs. Somehow the police were monitoring people talking online. They knew all these locations, and maybe over 100 locations, and they all sort of, police turned up. And then also these anti-protesters turned up. Why? I don't know. Personally, you wouldn't tell anyone. If you had inside information, you wouldn't be spreading it around. So it's obviously it's just some sort of fake narrative, and then they can push all these things. Oh, we're against fascism, and we're against Nazism, or against whateverism. Race, gender, and all these other things. But it has nothing to do with it. I mean, they're just kicking off. It's more our national identities being eroded away by this globalist model. And it'd be great if it was all fair and everything was equal. We wanted to do all this trade with each other, these different countries, and skilled workers wanted to migrate around different countries and stuff like that. But what's happening is there's a difference in different societies, and that has a massive impact. But you've got some country that's like third world, high unemployment and so on. They come here and they see all the advantages, and they just want to exploit that, which I can understand, But they don't come here to think, I'm going to work really hard. And I mean, in the past it was a bit like that. People built a new life, but actually their plan wasn't always to stay here. They just ended up staying here because they settled here. That's why. And that's a story I hear quite often. You got people here, they just come in here and think, well, I haven't got a home there, or I don't feel like I belong there, or there's opportunities. But I think it's also to create, basically, it's always the working class that will suffer. Just the people that work day to day and just want to stand on their own feet. And then they've done this before, where you create sort of like slums and things like that. So you take an area where people have bought their council houses and done them up, and then you start putting developments in there, and you put people in there that have kind of issues, whatever they might be. Maybe they're immigrants. Maybe they fall into a sort of belt of lower classes, and then they put them all together, and it's like, well, what'll happen eventually is that the kind of nobody wants to buy property there, so the person who's climbed this ladder is not going to really get off the ladder. And then there was stuff with the government and compulsory purchases. They can take away people's properties, even if they bought them, they could buy them back at the lower rate than they actually bought them, so they end up with basically losing. So it's all about this manipulation that goes on behind the scenes, and it's quite disgusting, to be honest, because there's obviously an agenda that runs deeper than we fully understand, and I think a lot of it's pushed towards this global government. And it didn't matter things like Brexit and so on, because they still carried on the same policies. I think, well, that they didn't do what we wanted to, but however, we're still going to do what we like, and that's what happened. They just avoided either doing anything to do with Brexit, or they haven't changed any particular policies, and also just to kind of just to have some regulation in immigration. There's no issue with people coming over here to work, pay taxes, if they come over as a student or something. But it's all about contributing to society, to build society, and to be a part of society. Because this is its own little hub, social ecosystem and stuff like that. So people come over here to disrupt it because they don't understand it, or they think, well, my ways are better than yours. It's problematic. That's the issue. And then you got people that, like you say, they believe there's things here for them that are not. Had that in the because there's sort of quite a large Polish community in Reading, and had it where older generations of the Polish that have settled down and have businesses, there was a sort of influx of Polish coming over, but they believed there was work over here, building work and stuff like that, and there wasn't, and they sort of they would have paid to come over here, or to stay over here, or however they've been set up, and they turn to drink, and then on the streets, and other Polish would say to you, go back to your own country, because the same, you're embarrassing me, we come here, we've settled, and then we got you come here, and there is no work, so there's no work for you. And to a degree it's probably true. It could be how you apply yourself, but it isn't like there's all these golden opportunities. Only if you're willing to create them yourself. That's probably the best bet. The best bet and the best answer, if you want a better life for yourself, you've got to be willing to make them changes. And I've got no issues with different classes, but the issue, the grander issue, is that it's being socially engineered and politically engineered, and we're being polarised to believe things. And then, there'll be a point where, your application form, are you liberal, are you this, are you that? You might have to fill out massive questionnaires, and they might say, well, based on this, you're a racist. or somethingist. You don't fit in with the company's ideology, therefore you can't come in, this sort of thing. It's like, what on earth? So it's kind of like the thinking for you has already been created, and you just got to choose which thing to follow. It's like religion as well. Oh, you can't pick out what you want. You have to believe everything that's written down. And reality is, no, you don't have to believe everything that's written down. Because then you put things into question. It's simple. Follow orders that you're given. So sometimes you have to live outside the system, but you also have to engage it. And they want to suppress people, so you want to be modest in what you do. So not to draw too much attention. Social media, you want to be sort of careful with certain things. It's all right to have an opinion, but your opinion can get you arrested if you put it into text, or if you put it into a video. So, like, this is just a general discussion. In case it gets sort of flagged somewhere, but it might do anyway, because I'm not the authority to talk about politics or something, Or if I am, it'd just be like used against me. And there's also things like just not interested. I mean, same with like diversity. By fragmenting things further and further and further, it creates division. It does the opposite to whatever it's intending to do. I just accept people and things the way they are. I don't have to think too hard about that. When somebody says, "Oh, you got to be culturally aware, culturally appropriate, you got to do this, you got to do that," there'll probably be in the future guidebooks like how do you deal with non-nationals, how should you communicate, what body language should you use, what body language should you use with people with disabilities. I mean, there is some interesting things about disability. I'll touch it quickly because I've got a client who's partially sighted, and a lot of people use body language to communicate. So because the person doesn't use the body language so much, if I'm there, there's a tendency for, like, having a discussion with somebody in a shop or something, there's a tendency, or a workman or whatever, they would look at me because they need clarification with the body language. So they will automatically lock on me because I'm generating more eye contact, which is interesting that people need that. And they do it without thinking it, they're just programmed. Someone's looking at them, they look directly back at them, or when it's sort of talking. So, and also how to use that as well. What's the most meaningful part of someone looking at you? And also, if you think when people sort of look away, but they're actually still looking at you. And this is often what women are very good at. They will be watching you out of the corner of their eye, basically. I used to have a teacher who used to do that. He used to say, "Stop it, Jen." And then it was like her head was turned backwards to you, I say. And the only other weird thing I had yesterday was I got up early in the morning. It's like 4 in the morning. I just looked at my phone. And have you ever had on the training board where something moved, basically. It moved quickly, and a knife span around a pint glass. I thought, that's weird. I was thinking, why would it pop out? I was thinking, I haven't got a poltergeist, because otherwise this activity might build up over time. Last thing I want. Anyway, speak sign off. Have a great one, and speak to you soon.